Dalton, is that the biggest win you've ever been a part of since you've been here?
That's tough to say. I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest. My first road start at Miami when we went to overtime and beat them, that was pretty big too. But, what this win did for our program and just kind of building on our confidence, that's pretty big.
Maybe the way in which you won as well. It wasn't flashy. It was kind of a grinded-out win against a team that likes to grind it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a great defense, and they presented a lot of problems for us. We didn't play as well as we wanted to offensively, but our defense played lights out. And it was just a great team win for us.
Boston College has given you a lot of problems over the years. You haven't scored an offensive touchdown against these guys since 2008. Do you guys talk about that in the locker room? What is it about BC that is giving you guys so many issues?
They're very well coached. I mean, they're very rarely out of position. They're always playing gap sound. It's hard to move the ball on them. I mean, Kuechly, the linebacker they have, is leading the country in tackles. He led the country in tackles last year. He's always got a nose for the ball and always around the ball. And they present a good challenge for us. But, we're going to have to do a great job of preparing for them and trying to get a feel for what they do.
Physically, are they one of the more tougher teams on the schedule generally?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're always one of the bigger, stronger teams you play. I don't know what it is. They might all have personal trainers or something, but they're always huge. So.
I know you've heard the perception nationally, Clemson is soft. Does a game like this past Saturday night, you think maybe kind of dispel that notion a little bit? And do you feel like you were the more physical team?
Well, I mean, we beat them, and we beat them pretty handily, so I don't know if that can speak for itself or not. But, we try not to listen to all that stuff. We have a formula for success, as Coach Winnie says, and that's what we buy into. We don't listen to anything else, and we just try to focus on doing our job.
As last year's loss was kind of the poster child for the season you guys ended up having, I mean, do those memories linger? I mean, are you maybe looking at this week on the calendar saying, I really want some personal revenge because of the pain that you guys experienced up there last year?
Yeah, that was a very disappointing loss last year. We knew how good Boston College was, although nobody else seemed to, and I think they beat us and didn't lose a game after that. So we knew how good they were, and to go up there and lose the way we did, it was just very disappointing. And as somebody mentioned earlier, we hadn't scored an offensive touchdown in a couple of years, and that's something that's got to change.
And along those lines, therefore, veterans like yourself help kind of tell the team about how Boston College always plays Clemson tough. Plus last year, they were in a similar state of their season, 1 or 2 wins and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you cut on the film, they don't have the athletes that jump out at you like the Florida States and the Auburns, Virginia Techs, but they're so fundamentally sound and they never get out of their gaps, and they're so well coached that it's going to present a lot bigger challenge than some of the things we faced in weeks past.
Is this offense kind of growing as the season goes on and now able to adapt some things, add some things, because as time goes on, teams are going to have a better idea as to what this whole new offense is all about?
Yeah, you can't coach experience, and we're getting more and more experience each week, especially with our young guys. And for Taj, that was his first road game, and not only was it his first road game, but his first probably ever game in 30-degree weather with snow falling down on you. And so it was a good experience for all of our guys, and I think the more we play, the better we'll get.
Think about last year in that locker room after Boston College, and the lack of leadership, I guess, on that team, and then the locker room this past Saturday. Talk about that difference that you see.
As you mentioned, it's just the leadership. This year, there hasn't ever been a moment where we were doubting what we could do. I think at times last year, nobody would ever come out and say they weren't sure, but you could just kind of look around and you could see it in the eyes that people were confident. And this year, we've done a great job of staying humble and staying hungry, but yet being pretty confident that we can go out and play with anybody in the country.
Who are the guys who have been the best leaders for this team right now, especially on offense?
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, that's the great thing about it is there's not one particular guy that's just the man. We have such a close unit that it doesn't take one person. It's a collective effort.
Did you anticipate this? And what I mean by that is when you talked about, there's no lack of doubt on this team. When did that come about? Did you see it in the summer? Did it? I mean, obviously that doesn't just happen like a switch.
I think when we started winter workouts pretty soon after the bowl game, because when we came to Clemson, we expected to win, but that's what Clemson does. And nobody came here to be 6-7, and we just had it in our minds right then that we were never going to let that happen again. And we had one of our best off seasons, best summer, and our coaches did a good job of putting us in a situation to win, and with the changes they made, and we're just trying to improve on that.
Does some of that adversity and some of the losses y'all had last year help you not get too overconfident in a situation like right now?
Yeah, definitely. We started this season, our goal was to be a championship team. That was our dream. And right now, if we continue to win, we know we have a chance. But if we lose, that's all going away. So there's no way in the world we're complacent and we're ready to just think we've arrived, because we haven't done anything. We're still a 6-7 team. It's still December.
You notice how the winning has become contagious. Special teams, they're coming off the field, jumping up and down after each play.
Yeah, we're just playing with a lot of fun. I mean, the fun's in the winning. Coach Winnie says it all the time. And you know, the past couple of years it hadn't been a lot of fun. And this year it's starting to change, and the culture's changing, and everybody's just starting to really enjoy playing the game of football.
Well, how would you describe? I mean, everybody mentions that. You know, there's the change in the culture. I mean, how if I were inside, what would I see that was different? Just give me an example.
I think if you go back and cut on the game 2 or 3 years ago when we played Alabama in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, we were just a very undisciplined, soft team that, you know, was overrated. And we didn't deserve the ranking we had going in there. And now if you look at it, we're a completely different team. We're a lot more disciplined. We're one of the least penalized teams. We're playing a lot more physical. We're able to run the ball. You know, Virginia Tech hadn't really had a lot of people have over 100 yards rushing and score that many points. And our defense had been known to give up a lot of big plays, and they didn't even allow a touchdown. So just little things that are changing that are making a big difference overall.
Just the effort Saturday night overall for the Lions, was that the Lions' best game, you think, this year?
I think as a cumulative effect, it probably was, especially going on the road in a hostile environment. I know it was tough for me early on because I had my head down going on the silent count, and I couldn't see things. But once we kind of all calmed down and we got a feel for things, we were able to pick it up pretty good.
Did you wake up Sunday morning thinking, now I want to go see where we're ranked? You know, or did you care?
No, not at all, man. I was just, my biggest focus was on Boston College. I came in here as soon as I woke up and watched the game and immediately started breaking down Boston College because, as I mentioned, all we know is if we keep winning, we have a chance. But if we lose, none of it matters.
What can you say about Phillip Rice, fifth-year senior? Has never started. I mean, what can you say about him this year?
I'm very proud of him. You know, there's times throughout the week he'd be like, I don't know about this silent count. And I'm like, man, I promise, you know, you just got to get used to it. And but, you know, as the week got on, his confidence grew, and he did a great job for us. And he's done a great job for us all year. And, you know, you just couldn't be more proud of a guy to come here as a walk-on tight end to grow into the role he's done. And, you know, we're just all very proud of him.
I was watching a college football show the other day, and they said that the difference between great quarterbacks and good quarterbacks is like Matt Ryan at Boston College a few years ago. His teammates could look at him in the huddle and know he was going to win a game for them. Do you guys have that kind of confidence in Taj now? And what is his demeanor out there with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just in Taj. I think it's everywhere in the huddle you look. That's what I was saying. Last year, you never really felt that sense of security when you looked around the locker room. But this year, there's just a little bit something different. And I think that comes from all the hard work and preparation. And, you know, we refuse to be denied because we put way too much into it.
Your punter said yesterday, Dawson Zimmerman, he said, we want to overwhelm people, and we have the confidence. We buy into what Dabo's saying now that we can do that. Is that the case?
Yeah. I mean, we still haven't played our best game. You know, we've played well in phases. Offense has played well. Defense hasn't played well. Last week, defense played unbelievable. Offense played good enough to win the game. Special teams have been pretty solid every week. But when we put all three phases together and play the way we're supposed to, we have a chance to overwhelm people.
I know you can't program how games are played, but do you think it was a healthy thing that the defense carried the weight last week? I mean, what I'm saying is there was obviously a perception that, you know, that you guys were only scoring 35 points a game, but needed to score 35 points a game. I would think, you know, it would be a huge boost to them that, you know, they can feel like now, like okay, it was a huge consequential thing, and we did our jobs.
Well, we played a lot of great teams, so for them to, you know, say we had to outscore people was a stretch. I mean, they were doing their job. And, you know, we knew it was only a matter of time before they overwhelmed people like they did Saturday, because they're a great team with a lot of talent. And Coach Steele always does a good job of mixing things up and having a great game plan each week. So we had all the confidence in the world.
Thanks, Dalton.